Hello and welcome to this special interview on this social media platform. I am Bright Additional. This interview is with Francis O. Mberibe, an international media security expert, and the purpose is to have him look into the current security challenges facing Nigeria. We want to see his side of the view, and of course, provide suggestion that if we embrace, may give a solution to the challenges in these current security issues in Nigeria. Over the years, Nigeria's security issues have increased from what we tag infants to what we call matured adults. And these have actually made the rising generation to become so aggrieved and confused that so many of them have begun to agitate for a separate nation. Earlier on, it was Biafra from the eastern part, and now we have what is coming out from the western part, which is the Yoruba nation. And all these people have believed that their leaders in the upper house and both lower house of the lawmakers have failed them completely and do not have their interests at hand. Hence, they believe that the only way to go forward from Nigeria is for all the which is a division. We have Francis Mberibe, an international security expert, like I said earlier on, who will be helping us to address the issue. Francis Mberibe, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you very much, Bright. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Okay, before we move forward, if you're watching us and you want to join the conversation, simply click on the chat bar and leave your question or contribution. And once we see it, we'll pull it up and read from there. Francis Mberibe, you're a security expert, and I welcome you once again to the program. Of course, you know what has been happening in Nigeria for some times now. But before I hear your opinion, please, I would love us to watch the video of the current Oni of Ife and his advice to Nigerian leaders on the current security challenges facing Nigeria. And of course, if they really want the situation to be something.
To give you a message. We don't have any other place. The nation belongs to all of us. We're here talking. The organizer, Honorable Speaker, spoke first, welcomed all of us, followed by the Senate President. We all know their positions in this country. The Senate President is, by virtue of counting this country, is the number 3 man in this country. The Speaker, too, the number 4 man in this country. His Eminence spoke as well. And you can see the trajectory of everything, that they are saying the same thing. The gatekeepers of their nation are here, the service chiefs. And if you look at this all, on the average, the age of each and every one of us here is between the bracket of 50 and about 60, early 60s. And anybody can challenge me if I'm wrong. Our dear country that has brought all of us together here, the youngest serving governor is only 46 years old. And we all know the demography of this country. The demography of this country is above 50, all the way to age of dependency is less than 30%. But between the age of 18 to under 40, we have them in numbers of more than 70%. And we're talking about security here. Who are the active participants? whenever we have breakdown of law and order, it is the average age of 18 to 39. And that's the truth. Are they ghosts? Are they invisible? The answer is no. They are human beings. Even our laws, our constitution, they will say at some point, very active civil servants will live on the average of 60 years old. Because they know why. Because they are getting tired. Maybe the judiciary extends till 70 years old. Some 65. They will even say 35 or 30 years, whichever comes earlier. We all know all these laws. But every time we're talking the talk, we're talking the talk. Number 2 man, number 3 man, number 4 man, they are all saying the same thing the way His Eminence said it. And the participants are not faceless. They are not ghosts. It is very idiotic and stupidity for us to be doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. We will continue to get the same result. Let's be very truthful and honest to ourselves in this country. We all know the problems. How well are we carrying along these people in that age bracket who are representing that age bracket in this hall? The answer is no. We are not engaging them at all. But whenever we want to go for political posts, appointments, we go back to them. We know the good, we know the bad, and the ugly in their category. As traditional rulers, they are the most active in our system. Let us tell ourselves the truth. They are hungry and they are angry. I repeat, they are hungry and they are very angry. All of us that are here, I'll be very happy if anybody can raise up their hand and say, I can go to my area of constituents, my local governments, and I can stay there in peace for 1 week. Who can do it here? Including our gatekeepers. Who can do it here? Including the Senate President, including the Speaker. But you left the traditional rulers. You left district heads, the Baales, to continue to stay there. And you are saying all will be well in this country. We are the ones facing these youths. We know their problems. And we have been talking every time. You sit in beautiful offices and you all think all will be well. Let us be very truthful in this country. Look at this beautiful building. As beautiful as this building is, if the foundation is wrong, the entire building will collapse because the foundation has a problem. In this gathering, the Senate President mentioned the key factor, the collapse of local government. It has collapsed. Let's be very truthful to ourselves. It has completely collapsed because that's the only arm of government that is, number one, the foundation of this country. You don't have any other foundation. We are only building on a castle that has been completely broken down. That is the foundation that will gather the most active age bracket for you in this country. You say we have 774 local governments and several wards. Where do we have the wards being put together? It's under the local government constituency. They are underfunded. You don't even reference them for anything. You don't even care about their administration. Where did we get it wrong in this country? We all have faults. All of us here. if we keep talking every time, we will not get any result. It's getting worse. They are getting more emboldened. They are now very bold, and they are ready to face anybody because they are hungry and they are angry. Let us change our strategy. Let us change our style. You leave this age bracket. If there will be problem, you will give them guns to start to move around. You will never see anybody above our age in our comfort zone here that is really ready to face the music. It's very important for all of us to know that we are not all safe. We are not safe at all. Let us engage a lot of youth organizations that are very relevant, that understands the local government administration, the governance within every district, every category of the localization of this country. It's very important for us, and continue to engage them in every program we do in this country. You have neglected that category completely. The whole we are right now, you have neglected them because they are not represented here. They are not at all. So what are we going to come out here to talk about? And that is our foundation. It is our foundation. We should be very serious in this country now. We should talk very seriously. This issue of security, this national security, is not the problem of the service chiefs. It's not the problem of the lawmakers. It's not the problem of the executive arm of government. It's the problem of all of us. How many of this active population that are under you that you are taking care of? What's the essence of you being a politician? That you cannot even move around freely. You cannot. Nobody. Do you think Abuja is only Nigeria? Or Lagos is only Nigeria? 36 states of this country. Some people are there, you left them, you abandoned them, and you are making laws and you are administering. What are you administering? I do not know. So let us talk to ourselves very seriously. The people that are not ghosts, these people that are agitating left and right, we need to engage them. We need to actually engage them and separate the corn from chaff. We know the good and the bad amongst them. We can easily separate them by engaging them, draw them closer. And I will give you a good example from my own community. If a Modakeke war has been the very strongest communal clash in southwestern Nigeria. It's been on for a very long time. But what did I do? A very practical experience. I decided to engage the youths. For me to engage them one-on-one so that I can separate the bad one and the good one. Something happened recently. We almost had another breakdown of law and order. The boundary line of the two communities, some people started shooting sporadically. And the two communities started converging and moving away from the boundary lines. And they were agitating. The war has started again. The war has started again. I had to come out and call the youths around that we need to do it at the dead of the night. Let us go to the boundary and see the people that are doing all these things. Lo and behold, we went to the boundary and we realized that the youths of the two communities are trying to protect their own territory. At the end of the day, it is just an artificial noise that they are just raising. If we engage the people that are active, it will be a lot easier for each and every one of us. On this note, I want to thank the organizers, and I want to tell us that enough of us talking the talk. Let us walk the walk. God bless us and God bless Nigeria.
Okay, this is the aspect of the program that I really want the listeners to pay attention to, as well as our guests to address. You can join the conversation by simply clicking on the chat bar, asking question or giving your own contribution. And once we see it, we'll pull it up. Now, Francis Meribe, you are an international security expert, and I'm very, very sure that the man that spoke really spoke from the heart, and that such heart is not different from whom I have known you to be. So I will ask you this question. Now, do you think the Oni of Ife was right in his statement?
Bright, what I would like to tell you about this matter is that the owner of Ife is totally on point. And what he has just said is the issue at stake in this country. The problem of this country came from the fact that at the beginning, those who rose to power at independence were all young people. The oldest man among them then, I think, was the Sadana of Sokoto, Sir Ahmad Bello, followed by Nandi Azikiwe. Others were very, very young people. Now, I know that the military truncated their time, and then when the military rules were rested the first time in 1979, it was those people, most of them, that came back to power. But then the problem of Nigeria started with when they finished, when it was truncated again in 1983, December, this same group of people continued to wait in the brinks. And in 1999, when they were supposed to not appear on the scene again, all of them came back. And they are holding on to power in a country where 60 to 70% of its demographics are young people, political youth, 18 to 40. This is totally unacceptable. There are a lot of changes in the world today. The dynamics had changed so much that these people's original concept of leadership, concept of governance, and how they even came to become an independent Nigeria were no longer in vogue. They have had children. They send these children to school, better school than they themselves attended. And these children came out with higher levels of knowing, learning, knowledge, and all. And the same people, we have raised their consciousness to a very high level, we took steps to marginalize. That's one of the things I understand from Oni's statement. We marginalize them in so much so that, take a look, not just in Nigeria, in most part of Africa, we have a president who is going in his 80s. This is unacceptable. I think in Cameroon is 90-something. This is not supposed to be happening. I know that age is not all that there is to it, but the other dynamics of politics, like who becomes governors in the states and who becomes state house of assembly members, national assembly members, this needs to be, the space needs to be created for these people to be involved at all times. That's what the Oni said. And this is not happening in Nigeria. So my point here now is that the Oni has, in his capacity, even if he's a young man, his office is the father's office. He has given a father's advice. This country will be ignoring that advice at their peril. That's what I want to say at this point.
Okay, now it is obvious from the point of your view that there is no difference between acknowledging what Oni of Ife just said in that video. Then this is a question that I will need, we would love to get an answer of yes or no. Do you think with what Oni of Ife said, and you being an elderly person in the security industry, do you think Nigeria really have a challenge? Do you think we have a lot of challenges currently?
To call what Nigeria has just simply challenges is an understatement. Nigeria is in a quandary, politically, security-wise. The last time the National Assembly held a special plenary on insecurity in Nigeria, we saw the senators themselves crying in that hall. And the emotional presentations of Smart Adeyemi from Kogi State has not left me till today. He was so affected that he was shedding tears in that public space.
Okay, I will stop you from here. I wouldn't want you to go further so that you can add whatever you want to say here now in other this. So in the other way around, you acknowledge that there are a lot of challenges in Nigeria. You do that. Okay.
Yes,
Now
definitely.
these challenges, according to the rising generations and what you will be seeing on social media for some years now, coming to this point in time we are, have made Nigerian youth to rise up, begin to agitate for a lot of things in Nigeria. It started with the Biafran, which were accustomed, known to be with the eastern part of Nigerian, saying that we want our own nation. And now the
Yes. While we are still waiting for Bright to return, I'm sure this is the normal Nigerian question of um, uh, network issues. But I think we are glad to have him back. We are glad to have him up. So, Bright, go
okay.
ahead.
Thank you. I said, of course, these challenges have made a lot of rising generations to stand up to begin to agitate for so many things. It started with the eastern part of Nigeria, where the youth stand up Biafra, and we were looking at it as a thing of 2, 3 persons, for, and before you know, it becomes something of a large group of people. And that is not even enough. Recently, we saw in the Western, seen some from the Yoruba land coming out to tell you we are no longer okay with Nigeria. We want our own nation. So the question now is, seeing that Nigeria have a lot of challenges, what is the way out? Some have advocated there shouldn't be separation of Nigeria. We are one nation. Let us remain one. Let us go for national conference. Let us go for restructuring. And some are insisting no restructuring. We want separation. The question now is, with these whole challenges, which is the way out? We want to hear your opinion as an expert in our security department. Of course, you can tell us the best that Nigeria need now to come out of these challenges that is facing the whole nation in terms of economy, in terms of everything. So we want to know which way out. Is it restructuring that will lead to, is it a national conference that will lead with a good restructuring for a better Nigeria, or separation of Nigeria? Which do you suggest?
Let me start by stating something that is intimate with me about Nigeria. Earlier in my life, the idea of Nigeria was so sacrosanct. And I love the size of the country. As a young man, I had a job that took me to all parts of the country. And I enjoyed every bit of the specialties and differences of the people instead of being angry about them or having enemies around. Instead, I found friendship, love, and accommodation across in those days when I was young. Now, as part of my own feelings about the country, many young people approach me at the beginning of the current challenges we face in Nigeria, asking for ways to leave the country. And if the number of them that I dissuaded from leaving Nigeria is only 100, that is very small. Many of them came and I sat them down and opened their eyes then to what I feel is a hope that, you know, Nigeria is meaningful, Nigeria is important, we can build it. And I dissuaded them. But I have to tell you, Bright, that about 2016, between 2015 and 2016, I actually regretted asking people not to leave Nigeria. And I wrote an article to that effect, you know, apologizing to them that I had to dissuade them from abandoning Nigeria when they wanted. I did that. Reason being that over the time, from the First Republic, the Second Republic, and where we are right now, and of course, the most criminal of them all is the military rule that came upon us from 1966. All that the people who have taken power, and I put it taking power, have done is to destroy this country. None of them have made an effort to build it. Here is what happens. There's this thing about life. If you are not growing, you are dying. There are just no two ways about it. You are either growing or you are dying. That is just the fact of life. And Nigeria never grew. We have never had this country grow. Nobody has helped it to grow. Those who have come to power have only come to power for sharing what they want to get. as far back as independence, we had such statements that were damnable. I mean, those are things that should have either closed the issue of Nigeria before it became what it is today. Credited to this statement was credited to no less a person but Ahmad Bello, Sir Ahmad Bello, the by then the Sardauna of Sokoto. He said, "The new nation called Nigeria should be the estate of our great grandfather Othman Dan Fodio. We must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. We use the minorities of the north as willing tools and the south as conquered territory, and never allow them to rule over us, and never allow them to have control over their future." Now, this is on record. Probably he didn't say that, but that is credited to him. And I have another one credited to Nnamdi Azikiwe, and he said this in 1964. And that is because the signs were all there that there was a problem. That, as you know, another thing credited to the Sultan Sardauna of Sokoto then was that Nigeria was a mistake of 1914. Nnamdi Azikiwe said, "If Nigeria must disintegrate, then in the name of God, let the operation be short and painless. It is better that we disintegrate in peace and not in pieces." Now, all of these were there. Those who became leaders of this country did not take care of these issues. My point was that they should have been very sensitive to the fact that there were challenges in the arrangement called Nigeria. Beautiful as it is, as far as I'm concerned, Nigeria is very beautiful. It's a great thing. It's huge. You know, if you look at places like the United States, Nigeria is a huge place. The economy is large, the numbers are good. But the only way you can rule a people of many nationalities, Nigeria has, I think, according to records, is it 200 and something or 300 and something ethnic nationalities, over 500 different languages. Now, the only way you can keep this kind of people together is through equity, justice, fair play. Use good governance and rule of law. If you have rule of law operating and equity operating, good governance operating, those who took power, whichever means you find yourself in position of power, you know that it is a call to service, to give to other people, not to yourself. That is the only thing that could have been done. But none of the people who have ruled Nigeria have done any of this. So this is what brought us to where we are today. Nigeria is great. It could have been saved. It should be saved, but it is not at gunpoint. The unity we have right now is the unity of the gunpoint. We don't have a unity of conscience. The truth is that, and I authored an article about a year ago or so, and the title of that article is that nobody is a Nigerian. That is why those who are in Nigeria, both citizens and rulers, none of them are working for Nigeria. That's the title. Nobody is a Nigerian. Hence, nobody is working for Nigeria. So this is the key point here. Now, if we are thinking about saving this country and bringing it to the point where, as a country, things can begin to change and we can have peace again, then we need to look at fundamentals. Okay, and the key fundamental here is justice, good governance, and rule of law.
Okay, I want to take you on two words. You just talk about equity and you talk about justice. Now, for Nigerian youth currently to rise up from the eastern part agitating for their own nation, and those from the west agitating for their own nation. Now, can we attribute these two as this group of persons, not people not receiving justice and equity in the administrative system of Nigeria? Can we say that is one of the reasons why they are agitating?
Exactly. I tell you on good authority that if we have rule of law in this country, if we have equity, the love I have for this country will be what will be the dominant emotion of everyone who is in this space called Nigeria. But okay, right now, as we speak, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Right now, as we speak, even the people who are talking one Nigeria are not talking one Nigeria for Nigeria. They are talking one Nigeria because they are holding the gun. They are using the gun on the people. They are forcing the people. There's one way I characterize the Nigerian governance as government by intimidation. So they are not even saying it because they love the country. They are saying it because it is now with us. If what Sadano of Sokoto said those days is true, he said they must ruthlessly do everything in their power to keep control of the country. Now, if you check, that is what is playing out. And it is not true that you can successfully, ruthlessly keep this country as one. It's not possible. You can try, and they are trying. They are doing. People are getting killed. As we speak, until the Fulani herdsmen started kidnapping and killing, the total number of criminal killing in Nigeria is still less than 50% of the government forces killing of Nigerians for stupid reasons and causes. That is the point. So
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you have actually made a lot of points, which is not to be argued. But I still want to bring you down to this equity and justice, because if you look at Oni of Ife's speech, he said it. He made it simple that they should stop they should stop talking and start doing the talk. Okay. Now, talking about equity and justice for an average youth in Nigeria, what do you think the government can start doing now to see that there is equity in the leadership aspect of all the government, starting from the local level to the state, federal, and even the traditional institution, if one must achieve equity? And then what should the government start doing now in the case of justice in the areas of what the youth have lost since Nigeria got independent till now?
Okay, thank you. Now, this is where the issues and those who are campaigning, and I am one of the people who are strongly working through organizations and groups to see if we can restructure this country. This is where restructuring becomes critical. And the thing that can save the country, and let me tell you on good authority that a lot of water, so much water has passed under the bridge that I am personally afraid that there's nothing we can do to save this country at this time. But I am not one of those who believe in can do. I am a can do person. I am not a can't do person. I am a can do person. So coming from the positive spirit of can do, and I think this is one of the best ways to achieve the kind of separation that Zeke was talking about. If we have to separate, let's find a way, by God's grace, do it painlessly. The best way to start is through one. If we really want Nigeria to be Nigeria, we need a national conference. The Nigerians are not speaking. Since after the independence constitution, Nigerians have never come together and spoken. All the time they did, those in power managed to introduce what they call no-go areas. You can't do no-go area in a multinational country. Nigeria is a multinational country. It's not a nation. It is a far cry from being a nation. It can be a nation if we now blend the ethnic nationalities together through what I have mentioned earlier, justice, equity, and rule of law, and good governance. Now, to be able to help this country as we speak, to help and find a way to restore hope, and then build trust. If those who are holding power right now want to build trust by the youth, in their capacity to do anything for them, then they need to begin to talk about national conference. I know that all politicians are scared about national conference. All the people in the National Assembly, if we say national conference, they are worried about losing their position, because once there's a national conference, if you say sovereign, then a new sovereign authority outside the National Assembly we need to emerge. But we can also blend the national conference, but make sure that the National Assembly stays at their own position and makes their own contribution at that conference. So that is part one, number one. And that is in fact, this is the one that if the young people of Nigeria hear that, they are going to sheath their sword. And I tell you, the Biafran agitation is a very potent agitation. The Yoruba Nation agitation is very potent because I read and follow these things and I know what is going on in them. Now, all of these people, they are also strong. But the nucleus of their problem is injustice, nepotism, and then the conqueror spirit and winner-take-all system of political class. Now, if the political class says national conference, these people are going to feel, okay, these guys are willing to let down. They are willing to stop holding forth on all the things they have taken over. And that spirit can even begin to douse the tensions. I assure you, this is my own reading. Now, if they are not able to go for national conference, if they are afraid of losing power, then they should take, in fact, they themselves should take this national conference and lead it. Because they are the leaders we have right now. If they lead it, the young people of this country are bound to help them by restoring trust, because that effort alone will lead to hope. Now, the second level is to talk about, focus on restructuring the country. Now, there are a number of school of thoughts on restructuring. One of the school of thoughts, and that is the one that I believe can help this country, is to think about the pre-independence regional system or independence regional system. Now, it can be those regions and it can be new regions. The new regions can be our new geopolitical zones, which is 6. Initially, there were 3 regions and then 4 when the Midwest was created through a referendum. I don't know why we are afraid of referendum these days, because referendum is through this process by which we got the Midwest region. Now, the restructuring can be on our current geopolitical structure that is existing. And I expect those who are ruling us to take the lead for these things. If they don't, they are now making it difficult for the young people to have hope in them. And then young people will necessarily want to feel that they need to take them out first before they can move forward. But there's no need to take out those who are there now before moving forward. They can midwife these things themselves. The restructuring. So, and that restructuring of Nigeria should be no holds barred. There should be no go areas. Everything should be in the open. The revenue of the country, the political process, the religious process, the cultural process, everything should be restructured. The policing, even the military should become a little elite force, purely meant for development. I mean, for national defense.
I will have you talk about this more, but I want to ask a question a little bit. You know, when you talk about restructuring and when you talk about national conference, I don't know, but I think most rising generation out there doesn't really understand the word national conference and restructuring. I was having a conversation with an average youth out there within 22, 23, I guess so. And when I said, don't you think the national conference might be a way forward for Nigeria? And then his reply was, national conference, is it not more or less like, let's go have a meeting where the top ones are seated and then you will be at the backstage just listening and taking order from whatever they tell you they want to do. So can you use this platform to explain in a layman understanding what a national conference is and what restructuring mean before we come back to talk about detail on the two. Let's have a layman definition of what a national conference is and restructuring.
Okay, put simply, a national conference is an opportunity that allows the people of the country to come together through delegates that are elected deliberately, not selected. The problem with the national conference that young man is talking about is because those people were selected by those in power. None of them were elected. But first, there will be an election of a universal suffrage for delegates to the national conference. And that election should be open like a normal general election with universal suffrage in it, which means everybody of a voting age should have a right to contest for a position to go to the conference and also to be to elect others to go there. And then when these people have been chosen, then the other interest groups may be considered and they can come up and join, and this discussion will hold. That's one. That's the national conference. And then restructuring deals with, and both of them are constitutional issues. The right way to pronounce national conference should be National Constitutional Conference, so that when a constitution comes out, the people can say, we the people made this constitution. The restructuring is also about the same. Restructuring also had to do with the current political structures of the country, the economy, the policing, the politics, the religion, everything about the country, the place of religion in the country and all, should be on the front burner, and all of them will be given their place through a discussion. It's a kind of quasi-national conference. National conference is a little bit holistic, but restructuring is something that even the National Assembly, if they are wise, they can restructure this country, sit down and mean business. They always talk only about things that favor them, but they can sit down and mean business and actually help this country to be, the economy, the politics, the culture, the finance, fiscal federalism, all of those things connected to federalism, discussed and agree with. That is on a nutshell what these two things stand for.
Okay. Now, do you think Nigeria at this point of time is financial capable to hold a national conference? Because from what you've said, a national conference is not just what one can stand up in a day and say, we are holding it this Friday or this Tuesday. It's something one have to plan, if possible, give it months to materialize so that they can get the right people that's supposed to be in the venue so that they can produce what the nation actually needs. Now, do you think Nigeria, this current situation, is financially capable of holding a national conference? Because sometimes you see the rising generation saying that it is not financial aspect, that Nigerians are afraid, that Nigeria herself, that is the leaders, are afraid of holding national conference. And then one will ask, why are they afraid? Is a national conference a place where you go and then you tell your president, I don't want you again, you tell your senator, I don't want you again, or a place you go and you deliberate and look at something good that will move the nation forward? So let's look at, do you think Nigeria is financially capable for national conference at this point in time?
Very well, dear friend. If Nigeria can contemplate holding a presidential election in 2023, then Nigeria is capable of holding a national constitutional conference. That is one. Because the cost of holding election in Nigeria, even though all the money is spent, is not judicious to the point of elections. Most of them are fraudulently given out and spent. But the cost of a national constitutional conference is not supposed to be so heavy that the country cannot do it. And this is part of why people like me are thinking we need to have a national constitutional conference so we can discuss the real Nigeria that we want. Because this current Nigeria, nobody wants it. The only people that want it are those who have gone. And they are few. They are just less than 5% of Nigeria, those holding guns and controlling the guns. Now, here is the point. That national constitutional conference is not supposed to be cost intensive, where all those elected, we go and put them at Hilton, where they pay 70,000 naira a night, and food costs 10,000 per plate. That is not what they have come to do. After all those coming should also know the economy of the country right now. The country is in economic comatose. We cannot, shy away from that fact. This country is currently in an economic comatose. So those coming to rescue the country should not prepare their minds to the same attitude of those who are running for election in Nigeria. Opportunity to grab your own. It's not an opportunity to grab your own. In fact, it's an opportunity to come and work. In other climes, the National Assembly members, they work on part-time. And the National Constitutional Conference is a few months project. It's not a 1 year project. It's a few months project when it is set up properly and managed. And it is not supposed to be cash intensive where everybody coming will become a millionaire for coming. In fact, it should be made in such a way that those coming should sponsor themselves to it. If you cannot pay your way to the National Constitutional Conference, then you have no reason coming. The highest we can do is maybe political parties or the nationality, the ethnic nationalities of Nigeria. You can sponsor your people. In fact, nobody should be sponsored from the national coffers to come to National Constitutional Conference. Nobody. When the former, those who fought for Nigeria's independence, I don't know if they fought well, and here we are. But those who fought for Nigeria's independence, it wasn't the British government that was paying for them to go to London and other places to meet. It was their different political parties and ethnic nationalities. That's the people who were paying. So this conference should be a conference of the ethnic nationalities of Nigeria, because that's the only nation in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a nation. So the ethnic nationalities should pay their way to the conference to discuss how they want to be Nigerians, if they want to continue to be Nigerians. So it's not supposed to cost Nigeria money except basic administrative costs, for civil servants who will be support staff to the program. And those civil servants shouldn't come with the attitude we have today in most of Nigeria's things. Once you are put in a committee, you plan to build a duplex or buy the whole of your village, the lands in your village. No, it will not be that kind of a thing, because everybody coming should have a responsibility and know that we have something at stake in a country that is about to collapse. We are trying to save. And if they don't know that this country is about to collapse, they need to listen to Abdulsalami. I think that was in February this year. Premium Times, if I can get this thing. Premium Times publication, Abdulsalami Abubakar, former head of state, made a statement, and he said, that Nigeria, right now, one of the first things we have is that there are over 6 million firearms outside the government forces, held by non-state actors. Non-state actors are criminals and the other people who are holding guns. And he made it clear that the security situation of the country is going to lead to the disintegration of this country. That was in Premium Times in February this year. That's when Abdulsalami said that. So if we are thinking about cost, then we are being myopic. We are not thinking about the ultimate cost of losing the country. And that is where, if it is me, that's where my interest will be. To, find a way to do things that will save this country instead of something that will destroy it totally. And anybody coming to that conference should be mindful of all of that. That's my position on it.
Oh, Francis Mberibe, you have really given justice to today's program, and I'm very excited. I hope those viewing that want to contribute can actually send their question or contribution so that we will have the discussion going. But I want to ask this now. The rising generation out there might not have understood the extent National Conference and Restructuring will go in reshaping Nigeria. Even my own self, I didn't really have that idea until until this point in time that you spoke to us. Now the question is, what should the rising generation start doing now, rather than agitating for a separate nation? What should they do to channel that effort to having an effective national conference that will bet a good restructuring, restructured Nigeria that will produce something that in 10 years, even in million years to come, will not be having this kind of challenges that is facing Nigeria, both in security-wise, in other aspects, and everything that has to. What should they be doing? What should they start doing now with the energy they are using for agitation? How can they channel it, or what should they do to take it to the area of national conference to bet a good Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. Brian, this is a very difficult question for me. Difficult in the sense that the people who have sat astride the fortunes of this country and have ruined it and stolen all of it, did not know that they had thereby destroyed the fate of the young people. Now, all the rising generations of Nigeria, their fate in this country has been destroyed. Even many of us, older generation, have lost it. So I don't even know what they can do right now. Right now, what they can do, they have looked for everything. No option, no space. Look at even the ordinary NSAS protest. That protest was peaceful until the government got into it and started killing people. It was peaceful. They never harmed anybody. They only said, this is what we want. This is what we want. We are not going to go to work. We are not going to do anything for this government. We will just sit down. We will sing. We will talk. And army and police went there and shot them. So personally, I don't know what they can do again. The agitations for separation, for division, is the only option that these people are giving them. Here is my position on the agitation for Biafra, Odua Republic. Even the Fulani has said that they themselves are ready for separation. Even the Middle Belt, everywhere, the whole ground is shaking as far as Nigeria is concerned. And here is my position on what happened. These people had looked everywhere, and there's no place to put their hands. And as they say, when somebody is drowning, even a straw becomes something to hold, hoping that they will stabilize and stay afloat. Ordinary straw floating on the river or the sea. That's what the people will hold hand on, thinking that thereby they will be able to stay afloat. Straw. So these agitations to me are straws. If anybody need to do anything, and the right honorable, he said Minens, I want to address him that way. He said Minens, the Oni of Ife, has clearly said it. What is remaining is for me, our generation, those who are holding power right now, the Nigeria's political leaders, whichever party they are in, the military, the police, it is for them to drop their guns, because their gun cannot stop anything. These young people will continue to fight until there is no more Nigeria. If the young people do not listen to what the Oni of Ife said, they have to engage these people. Engagement is not the one they use in turning their hands, giving bribes. That is not engagement. Those are bribery and corruption, like what they did in the Niger Delta. You know,
Okay, are you there? It's like we've lost a network of him. If you are in the program, we are speaking with Francis Imelibe, an international security expert, and he's helping us look at the security challenges in Nigeria, which have affected every aspect of Nigeria, economy, and most especially free movement in some part of Nigeria. Over the years, we believe that the security challenge in Nigeria have grown from what we call infant to a matured adult, where everything is no longer put in a way it should be. And of course, Francis Imelibe, who have been here with us, have helped us understand a whole lot of things that if the leaders take to heart, will make Nigeria a better place. They have really spoken to us about restructuring and national conference being part of way to get out of this problem we are in Nigeria. And when he said a national conference, he was talking about effective national conference, meaning a national conference that will house all the youth and bring everyone together to deliberate on how Nigeria can move forward. No one will want Nigeria to go her separate way. In as much as the challenge in Nigeria is much, I myself wouldn't want Nigeria to really go her separate way. But if staying in Nigeria at the same time will take away my own life, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind running away. But if there is an option, just like Francis Imelibe have made us to understand, which is national conference and restructuring, why then being seated? Let's take up the opportunity and pull it out. If you're watching, you can join the conversation by simply sending your question or contribution in the chat but as soon as we see it, we pull it off. Francis Mberibe, we really want you to reconnect back because we have a lot of, some, not a lot, just a few other questions we want you to respond before we have it wrap up. It has really been good having listened to you here. You've really inspired us. You really made us understand that there are a whole lot of things we can do. Oni of Ife spoke recently and he said, let's stop the talk and start doing the talk. And Francis Mberibe, you have really also helped us to understand that it's important to start doing the talk. And I hope those that are watching this will be of a very good help to them to start doing the talk, to have a better Nigeria rather than saying the talk. Francis Mberibe, if you can hear me, please, if you cannot reconnect, we wouldn't mind having a phone call from you so that we will have you round up the aspect of the program. Francis Mberibe, are you there? Oh, I think totally we've lost him. But thank you so much for the one you have said. You have really given the whole of your time to this point of the program, and I have really gotten it right. Nigeria is the only place we have. There's nothing like home. There's nothing like let's go home, and the only home we have is Nigeria. Let us put it together. Let us move it forward. Let's help those in leadership, and those in leadership, please listen to the rising generation, listen to the youth, listen to their cry, their plea. Do not just sit in the office and assume that all is well. Even when you send people to go reach out to them, follow up those you send and see if the information or rather the message you send to them gets to those who needs to receive it. Until we come your way this same time next week, I am Bright Additional, and you can have the rest of these. You can follow up on this program to have the conversation, the rest of the conversation that you missed out at www.africantownhallonlinetelevision.com. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Okay. Thank you. It must be one of those technical issues we have in common.
Oh, obviously, I have actually wrapped up and you are joining. Thank you so much for your wonderful presence this evening. We have really enjoyed it, and we are glad that you visited. Thank you so much. I know our viewers have learned a lot from you, and they will be waiting to watch the aspect of the program that they must have missed. Thank you so much, Francis Mberibe, for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate every bit of this opportunity.
Okay. Good night.